Well, everybody, welcome to Corpse Talk. Today is a special day. My buddy Danny Grimes is going to be on from Delvingwood. I am super excited to have him on. Him and I have worked together in the past on projects. We've done a little bit of everything, to be honest. We met through a mutual friend, Brian Berg, which I'll have on here at some point in time. When your company's name is TPK Games, I should probably have you on a show where my job is to kill you constantly. So, Brian, if you see this later on, or if I clip it like I am right now, I'm going to send this to you, and you're going to need to come on before the end of the year. Danny is known for a lot of things. Entrepreneur at heart, super creative. This guy can do things with wood, and I don't mean in that way, that most people don't do. He's got a bunch of crazy training when it comes to doing this stuff, and lately, he's been working in his company, Delvingwood. He's even set up at my first two. I got to go see this new spot, which I'll let him talk about more, but that is just a bunch of hyper creatives in a spot creating amazing things. It's like adult college, I guess is how I would explain it. It's that communal section where everyone is making things and helping each other out. But Danny is also a profound GM. We'll get into some of the GMing and what he does, and especially his large events that you see at conventions. It's not something you see a lot of people do, and maybe he'll have some tips and tricks for us on how to do it. It might just be don't do it. I don't fucking know. So with that, let me bring Danny on, and let's talk a little bit. Danny, how are you doing, buddy? We talked
I'm
about
doing
this last
great.
year, and
Yeah.
and now we're finally here. Finally here.
Yeah, well, thanks, Eric, for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is just my kind of thing. I love being publicly berated and then being abused in a role playing setting. So, you're really ticking all my boxes. Yeah, it's been a crazy year. We're launching a new company. There's lots of things going on, and yeah, I'll be happy to talk about any of that stuff.
Well, we've talked about Delvingwood pre-COVID. You were making these tiles previous to the company really being anything. It was morning wood in your garage. I remember pulling up in Tosa and seeing the garage door open and just the entire place packed full of tools. It reminded me of the alleyways in Japan. Like, there was just so much stuff crammed into this little area. And I don't know why or how or what the process was behind it, but how did you end up building a studio in your garage versus doing what you're doing now? Like,
well, why? I think it's just a matter of I have a sincere interest in woodworking and all that kind of stuff, and then you just collect stuff. Sorry.
You're good.
So I've just been collecting tools forever, and I tend to prefer vintage tools. I like old iron. And so rather than me going out and spending money on something new, I would just comb garage sales, which my partner, Susan, will tell you, it is a great way to collect a whole lot of broken tools.
Yeah.
But I was also pretty good at fixing them up. So I just built myself a little, it was dense. You're right. It was super dense. It's just small garage. We used to jokingly call it the pocket shop because everything was just jammed in the tiniest space. So when this opportunity came along at the House of Rad, which is what I think you were talking about a minute ago, the House of Rad is just a collective of artists, residents, doers. It's not a maker space. It's not shared tools and all that kind of thing, but it is a lot of really talented people all under one roof. And we're kind of in an industrial setting. I mean, you've been there. You would expect
it's brick, or not even brick. It's concrete walls with people building partitions with hollow ceilings and just what was the name of the in Japan? They tore it down in '94. It was that one building that was just building on top of building on top of building. It was
right.
Is kind of what that reminds me of.
It's an old warehouse space, which means it's rough around the edges.
Yeah. But
it's the kind of place where artists can afford to have a space.
Yeah.
It's not super expensive, and like I said, everybody there, it's trendy to say everybody's super cool, but the truth is everybody there is super cool. I work with these people all the time. We collab on little projects, and they'll come in and be like, they'll comment on my work and and say something about it that triggers something I want to do. So it's a great, very fulfilling, very rich environment.
I found that it was pretty age diverse too. Like when we walked through the place, it was like young 20s up to like people in their 60s and 70s that are doing stuff in there. It was really different to see that. That's not something you normally see.
Yeah, it definitely is not just a bunch of 20-something, early 30-something art students with a space where they're all kind of, everybody's very creative, but they're kind of all just glomming on each other's ideas. Mm-hmm. This is much more like people have their own mature perspectives on stuff, and they're doing their stuff. Yeah. So, but then collaborations can occur. I just collabed with Brahma. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know who Brahma is, but we did some pieces for an event that he was doing. He's the guy who got the contract with the Bucks, Milwaukee Bucks,
I do know
doing their streetwear. So I wouldn't even say I did a collab with him. I just did some artwork in support of him returning to Milwaukee.
That's cool.
He had a kind of a cool thing going. So it's just, you meet all kinds of really interesting people, man. And outside the TTRPG space specifically, this to me is what's key. I don't need more people bouncing ideas that I've already heard off of me. I need people who are going to say, well, have you ever thought about a game where this happens?
Well, it's very true. I think tabletop RPGs, after a while, people drill down so far into it, they don't remember they're in a world full of people doing other shit that can influence what they're building, what they're doing. If they're making a game as an indie company, if they are just GMing games, like, I think the best GM games are after I've been out of the space for a little bit, looking around the world, doing what I'm doing, and then come back. Those are some of the most creative times I have as a storyteller.
Agreed.
You're not telling the same story every fucking time.
Well, it's the cycle of life, right? You plant the field and then it lays fallow. And if you don't do both, you don't get the productivity, right?
Agreed. So with that, Danny, Corpse Talk's a little different of a show. I'm going to take me over to the map here, and then I'll bring you back. They'll be able to hear you as well. So we have been given, Alchemy has given us basically Mork Borg in advance. This thing wasn't out yet. People have already seen this when we've done our creature creation. They've helped build the map that's here. This map is from Amalith, amazing map maker. She does crazy hand-drawn style maps. And good old Rob Schwab left you in the fucking thick of it. And I mean the thick of it. So, Danny,
I like it thick. Yeah, Rob will tell you I like it thick.
I do. It's true. This little bastard here that you see, I'm going to pull up some information. So every single monster that's in here is created by the fans of the show when we do our creature builds. This is the marrow crab. It is a skull with some form of a carapace over top of it. The surrounding area is this weird green growing skin on the walls. There are skin tags that hang off and move. The marrow crab has crawled out of one of the skin pockets in the wall. One is dead next to it. This one is still alive. It is created by a group of people together. And I will say this, the last one did not damage Rob. He had died once and came back to this room and decided to leave your ass here in the middle of it. His words to you were, swing your dick hard.
Okay, that tracks. That definitely tracks.
That is Rob's warning to everybody.
That's Rob on a very light day, honestly.
It is. So your character has a spinal whip. It has the head of a spinal thief. That is actually the token you see in the other room. So you have this little all-toothed girl's head in your hand, so you have vision. If you want to think of the Headless Knight almost like the Headless Horseman, but he is a knight. When you die, you turn into this ecto-electrical nervous system that comes back to its body and reanimates it when they die. So, right now, we've left you in a room. You have a lot of options. I'm going to zoom out a little bit for the camera. You can be wherever you want. In this room, there is the crab. Behind you is a door open. Since he died, anything besides bosses or gods come back to life.
Got it.
So the room behind you, those two tokens are there. I just don't hide them anymore once you know they're there.
Got it. Well, do I sense there's any way to avoid or move around this thing?
Just this thing right now.
Okay, well, I guess I will try to move past it with my spinal whip.
Are you attacking or trying to move through the room?
Well, I guess if I'm put to that thing, I'm going to have to attack it. I'm going to have to attack it to move through the room. So I will keep my head in my left hand, low and kind of behind me. So I understand I'm going to suffer some vision, but I got to protect that head. So whatever penalty you want to apply for that, I'm keeping it low on one side. And the other whip, I'm just whacking at it savagely. I have no idea where its vulnerable points are. It's fucking marked board, man. Like it's vulnerable points.
It could be a bomb.
It might not have any.
Yeah,
you might not have any.
You don't know. So you get the roll to hit. You do have a pretty good strength. You get a +2 to your roll with your strength.
16.
16 is enough to hit this creature. You do have access to your character sheet. For those who have not seen him, I will pull this up on screen as well. You can look at him and do what you need. There is your actions. You can see that you have your whips and stuff like that in there, but your spinal whip weapon that you have is pretty good. It does a D8. It is spectral. Spectral just means that you can also use it when you're in your nerve state.
I do 5 dice damage.
5 dice damage. Well, unfortunately, I do have armor on these little bastards. Why do I have armor on these bastards? Because they said this game was too easy. And when they said this game was too easy, the group decided that we needed to upgrade everyone. So they have an armor. I think I'm looking at a D4. We're going to be trying this out and see what I can get. I got a 3. I take 2 points. 2 points of damage. So as you hit me for the 2 points of damage, you realize 2 things. One, not only are they armored and hardened, you see tiny versions of this crab crawling out from underneath its shell. Yeah, okay. It's not good.
Okay, so here's my question. Can I use the momentum of that whip crack? And because whips, they are kind of tend to drive people away.
They do.
I'm going to try to slip past if I still have a move.
Yeah, if you want to use your move to try to get, where are you going to go? Towards the door? Is that what your game plan is? This room is a room full of stacked coffins, like it's a storage room. All the coffins are stone. They're not easily movable. The walls are made of a thick brick, but there are holes in it that look out into this glowing green void. Do you want to move towards the door? Do you want to move towards...
Well, let's hold up a second. I imagine before I was a knight,
Correct.
I was some sort of grave robbing weirdo.
No.
So I can't ever resist a closed. I can't resist a closed coffin. So I'm gonna take a peek at least one of them to see what's in these coffins.
We'll use this as your move. Give me a strength roll to lift one open. Looking at a 10. Pretty easy.
I get it. Yeah, I got a 12, raw 12.
12. As you pull it open, can I get a D12 from chat? As they're rolling the D12 for what's inside, we'll move on to our next question.
Come on, chat. Come on.
Yeah. Roll him something horrible.
No.
So you and I met through our love of tabletop games and Brian Bird, working on stuff for the tabletop industry. We've played a few games together, but honestly, we actually haven't got to play a ton together over the years. We played a few games, but we're usually too busy running things opposite of each other. Yep. And you've lived in Milwaukee for as long as I know. What has kept you here? Like, this is no longer the mecca for RPGs that it used to be. What kept you in Milwaukee?
Well, I guess I feel like RPGs are everywhere. It's just a matter of digging them out of the woodwork and finding out where people are gaming, and there's always somebody awesome. I love to go and meet those awesome GMs because those are my teachers. You did skip over a point there as well, Eric, because the thing that initially really interested me when we talked was your Iron GM experience, and because I too like that really extemporaneous, give me 3 prompts and I can run for 5 hours kind of gaming. Yeah. So I think that sort of thing, maybe that's a little more rare, because I think we've been taught that prep is a requisite and so on and so forth. Maybe not so much anymore. But I stick around Milwaukee.
This is what's on here. There's literally a white blank page.
Yeah, exactly. Notes are for taking during, not beforehand.
Aftermath, baby.
So I stuck around Milwaukee because, hey, I'm a Wisconsin homeboy. I've lived here my whole life. And I like Milwaukee, warts and all. Not that we don't have our problems, and there's some very serious problems around here.
Sure. But
I don't feel like leaving is the solution. Stick around, vote, do the things you can do to make things better, and then engage with people. There's tons of places now that do game nights at local bars. We've got a fairly thriving scene of that. There's like 3 or 4 places that do this. So And let's not forget, Milwaukee is 90 minutes, give or take, from GameWorldCon in Madison, which has a thriving gaming scene.
Yeah.
And it's another, 90 minutes from GaryCon.
Yeah. I mean, nothing's more than 15 minutes away.
Yeah, everything's close by. I love it.
So on the tail of that question, before we go back to what they have rolled for you, you do a little traveling. You and your lovely wife, in this whole crazy creative that you are, decided, I'm going to build my own camper.
That is true.
And you crammed it in there. Speaking of cram space, it is smaller than the garage shop that you had back in the day. But you built this camper to go out and go do what you want. Why in God's name did you not just buy one? A normal person would have bought a used one and retrofitted it. You did not.
Yeah, that's true. Just in a nutshell, I don't think campers are particularly well built.
No.
So I bought a construction trailer, that like a guy would buy if he was anyone would buy if they were running a construction business.
Yeah.
And then we just tricked out the interior to be a little hobbit hole, and we go camping with it. But it's also great for conventions. Because not only can we carry all of our stock to conventions in this trailer, but if we need to duck out and catch a nap in the afternoon, want to just get some peace and quiet for a little while during the show, it's right there in the parking lot. It's great.
I didn't even think about that.
It's awesome.
Because it's not full. It doesn't have a gray water system and all that kind of stuff, right? It's just.
It does.
You put a gray water in there?
It's got air conditioning. It's got a furnace.
Wow, Danny, wow.
We went winter camping 2 years ago in February up to Door County, which is north from here, for those who know Wisconsin.
Sure.
And it got down to 10 degrees at night, and we were cozy as cozy could be.
I'm sorry. Back up. You built gray water. I know it had power. I was there when you were doing the power. You built gray water, and it has air, and it has heat.
Yeah. But keep in mind that the heater's a space heater.
It doesn't matter. It's an 8x5, or whatever it is.
Yeah. 10, but it's great. And oftentimes, if life in the house is a little tense, you can always just there's a place to sleep outside on the driveway.
Little safe dip away.
Yeah, if you need it, yeah, for sure.
I'm sure Susan spends a lot of time in there. She's like, I gotta get away from Dave.
She just sits in there and holds her head and weeps openly.
Okay, well, with that, we got our 12. Let me tell you your wonderful prize. So on a D12, when you look into a coffin, a 12 is one of the better items. It's not the best, it's one of the better. The D12 gives you a small alchemical concoction. That alchemical concoction does a random thing from 1 to 6. Can I have the audience roll me a D6 as well? You do have that. You only can hold so many things in Morkboard, but you're pretty strong. So I'm not too worried.
I leave it behind once I drink it.
You're going to drink it?
Hell yes, I'm going to drink it. Roll me a D6.
I have a question for you. You're headless. Which do you feed it to?
Dump it down the neck hole, right?
Dump it down the neck.
Or dump it into the mouth.
It's your choice.
Yeah, I'm going to go neck hole because I think my body is the thing I have to keep moving. So.
All right. This is all new for you. You originally had the head of creation. That head of creation is what made everything around you. That's why you can see the maps and everything that's in this. I wasn't expecting that. Alchemical concoction, a 1. Well, Danny, as you drink this concoction, you can't smell, but it is definitely slick as it covers your bones on the inside.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, not only does it cover the bones on the inside as it falls in, all of a sudden, there is a burning sensation. You take 2 points of damage. 2 points of damage as fire erupts out of your neck hole. You weren't supposed to drink it. But I will say, if you would like to have a fire attack, you can definitely have a fire attack now until the fire burns out.
Yeah, I'll do that thing. I'll do that maneuver from The Thing, where the flaming thing just kind of spins around, and I'll just aim my neck hole at the crab monsters.
I'm gonna say this is probably not a strength roll, considering the fact that your character is swinging about. This would be an agility roll. You're at a -2. These things are pretty agile, so let's see how you do.
5.
A 5. You roll a 5. As you sweep around, fire blowing out, you miss entirely. You do have a move action left before I go. What would you like to do?
I will stumble forward with flames spurting and gouting out of my severed neck hole toward the door.
Which door? The one you came through originally, which is behind.
No. Progress always. Progress.
So I need an agility roll to disengage combat here. This is also a 10. They don't have anything special for this.
-2, I'm at a 12.
A 12 is enough. As you leave the zone that they're in, these are currently a DR10 creature as you head towards the door. So you've attacked and you've moved. You kind of go down and around and through and here. There is a wall dividing, so you do have some cover. They have to come through this little gap where I have this one at. This one runs forward. The little ones run this way across the room, and you don't know why. This one rounds the corner. I'm gonna make one attack on you. I hit a defense 17.
Oh, well, I think that's definitely going to hit me.
I would like to crit you, so I'm going to ask you a hot question. Danny, you have been doing this for a long time. You have been gaming, GMing. Who is the worst person you've ever had at your table? Now you can just say you don't want to answer this and take it.
No, I'll answer it. Worst person. Okay.
Worst person you've ever had at your table.
I'm going to tell you two things, and you decide which one works. I don't remember her name, but there was a woman who showed up for a drop-in game. We said you could bring your own character, and she showed us the first two sheets of her character sheet.
Okay.
When she started playing, she suddenly added all the other layers of her character sheet, and then started dominating the game with all these artifacts. So as an even-handed GM, I decided the best way was to sit down and talk with her about her enjoyment. No, that's not what I fucking did. What I did was I made a conspiracy among all the other players, and they fucking stripped her of her artifacts and killed her character. And then she had to take her little red wagon flyer full of fucking comic books and toddle her ass off down the causeway.
All right.
The only thing I was not able to achieve in that moment was I do have a stamp that is a blood red stamp that I stamp on character sheets that says, "Shut up now, you're fucking dead." I did not get a chance to put that on her character sheet.
I do remember you showing me that stamp. Danny, that's not the story I was going to expect. You, sir, get an omen. First omen. We've done this prior to even Corpse Talk. I ran this version in testing numerous times. You're the only person to get an omen so far. That is a good achievement for you. On your cheat sheet, it will let you know what you can do with omens. So I do not get a crit. I only get a standard hit against you. I was really hoping for like a really good hit with that.
I was hoping you get the first omen because then I can say to Rob Schwab, "Eat a dick."
You eat a dick, Rob. I got an omen. You did not. So I'm going to make my attack against you. We're going to use our lovely marrow crab creature. I think if I remember correctly, he does poison because of the way they built him. Yes, he has poison bone armor. And I don't do a lot of damage, though. I do a whole whopping D4 damage. All right, well, hey, you know what? It's a D4 and it's poison. I got a 3. Please make your armor roll, Danny. Please make your armor roll.
Oh. Do I take a penalty on that?
No, it's just an armor roll. That's how much damage you soak with the armor.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What die am I on?
If your armor, you are wearing heavy, you get a D6. You have a chance to soak all of this.
I misrolled. 1 point.
You only suck 1 of my 3 points. So you take 2 points of damage. You are now poisoned.
Ooh.
You feel your bones start to crack.
Now my bone's still on fire?
And you're still on fire. As the poison seeps into your bones, you feel as if you are slowly becoming more malleable.
Ooh.
Now you are a stone, like your bones are covered in putrefied in stone from all the years you've been buried here as the carrier of the head of creation.
Almost like petrified?
Almost. It's very similar. You have like almost like a white powder that's hardened and grown over like ground concrete.
Okay.
With that said, you got your first omen. You did not die. I'm very surprised, Danny. I was expecting one death out of this, right out of the gate.
Now you said Rob did where did the previous knight leave his head?
So you didn't see the previous episode. He woke up. Rob was the first person playing. He woke up inside of his sarcophagus. A hole in it, and his head was stolen.
Ah.
And the head of creation is what created this world originally, and now there's this like aberrational skin growth in the area you're in, but we have multiple areas. And one of your maps is actually getting added to it, and next Tuesday we're going to be building monsters on the map you sent me, as it gets added into the show. Yeah, exactly.
Cartographer's got to hang tight, bro.
It's true. It's true. Amalith, we're looking at you, Amalith. So with that, we move on to our next question. So, Danny, we talk about gaming a lot, and we talk about how the RPG systems we grew up with and how the indie scene has kind of revolutionized how we see storytelling and how it teaches new players and the grognards of our industry that storytelling doesn't have to be one way. When you are looking for a system, what do you think makes a good TTRPG game system?
Well, I guess just the looking kind of implies a lot of things. Like, I look once I know who I'm playing with. Mm-hmm. So I usually say, hey, I want to run a thing, and I'm thinking about running a thing like this. And then some people raise their hands, and some people say, not my cup of tea, or whatever. And then once I kind of know what people want to do, I generally will run for 3 or 4 people at a time, just from the sake of sanity. These days, I used to run big games, but not so much anymore. And so once I get a vibe for that, if I know people want to do like a lot of clue finding, mystery solving, puzzling, that kind of stuff, I'm probably going to say let's play some Call of Cthulhu. And I probably don't play all the rules, because a lot of rules, when I read them, I go, dumb, not needed. We can role play our way through that. So I would say 80% of any given book gets kind of glossed over by me.
Sure.
And
rules
then
light,
if I want to play,
rules light.
Yeah, rules light. But that's again become kind of a weird term, because people kind of always go to extremes. I don't need you have 1 stat, you have 2 points, you get a +1. That's boring too. Yeah. People like having a +4. People like rolling dice. It's part of the hobby. So I kind of pick based on who I'm playing with. And that's why I love, like you mentioned, indie scene stuff. Mm-hmm. The great thing about games like Borg, they're limited. Shadow of the Demon Lord, we give Rob a lot of shit, but Shadow of the Demon Lord is a brilliant game. It is brilliant. Yes. In terms of like taking everything about 5th edition that I kind of disdained and didn't enjoy that much, he was able to really change it up. And a lot of people can play that game because they know D20, so they automatically sort of know Shadow of the Demon Lord.
I will definitely say that there is likenesses between Shadow of the Demon Lord and 5e, but the only thing that's really similar is the concept of class and D20s. Like, after that, he basically ditched a lot of the things that we see as integral to 5e. I know neither you or I are like big 5e fans. Not that we think it's a bad system. It's not. It's just a system that is a great game. And you talk about Call of Cthulhu a lot, which I have a lot of problems with Call of Cthulhu. I think Call of Cthulhu needs a remodel, personally. I don't think it handles investigation very well. I think there's systems.
I'm right with you. I think, what you said earlier about 5e, like 5e is exactly the best system that Wizards of the Coast can make. And they make good games. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say. No. A little of that too, but it's also weirdly it's a role playing game that never really mentions role playing.
Exactly.
It is a tactical combat game that has a lot of flavor and flair.
Yeah. And
a lot of subsystems that go to it, but and it's ubiquitous. So if you want to say, hey, let's play a role playing game. D&D, anybody who knows anything is going to be like, yeah, I can do that. But it's not. I don't hate on it. It's great for our industry, And we all should be thankful that WotC and TSR and Gary did all those things.
I'm happy that they dealt a game that brought more people to the yard so we can play other games. Like, you and I, we've played a lot of Monte Cook games with their Cypher system, Numenera. We are a big love of the narrative aspect of that game, how they teach narrative. I personally am a big fan of Forge in the Dark or Blades in the Dark system, because it is a fail forward. While that is as common of a word used in tabletop as elevated is in the food world. Fail forward is nice because you are still accomplishing story arc and moving forward. So,
yeah, and I heard Colville, who is like my patron saint, he made a comment one time where he broke it out like, you can fail and a good thing or a bad thing can happen, or you can succeed and a good thing or a bad thing can happen.
Yeah,
well, there's obviously on that little Punnett square, you think, well, how do you succeed and have a bad thing happen? But once you play that way, you understand, yeah, you hit the guy, but you slide off the edge of the cliff. Well, but I hit the guy. That's got nothing to do with you sliding off the cliff, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you hit the guy.
Yes.
Now this other thing happens.
Yes.
And I think people understand better failing, but something good happens. Like, you miss the guy, you land in a puddle, and you find a magic ring. You know, like, that makes sense. But the other one sometimes doesn't. But it's really key, again, to keeping players invested and engaged in the game. Otherwise, you have people sitting there doing nothing. That's what D&D, to be perfectly blunt, that's what fucking D&D pisses me off.
Sit around and wait.
You sit around and wait for these rounds that take 45 to 90 minutes, and then you roll a die, and the GM says, you missed. See you on the second round of the night, and then we're going to call it quits.
It would be a great one-on-one game.
Yes, solo adventures are awesome.
It'd be great for that, because it's your turn, my turn, your turn, my turn.
Yeah. Clear all these other jokers out of the initiative order.
Well, with that, we'll go back to our map here, Danny.
Okay.
You are at a door with a marrow crab behind you that has recently stabbed you with its spiny skull-like substance. The other one ran off into the distance somewhere. For the audience, I will pull up this so you can see it, because if you remember correctly, this thing in the corner is Twisted Terrain. Twisted Terrain is a card that we play that alters a room, and they decided that this room was boring. They didn't want skin growing over the walls and skin tags hanging down. No. It wasn't good enough for them. They wanted it to be a sticky bog. As this creature runs to the corner and starts chewing on this stone-like aqueduct, and you hear water start to fill the room when you approach the door. You have 2 rounds to get out of this room before it fills with a liquid. Now, you're not sure if you breathe anymore, but your head might. You don't know. You have no idea.
I look up to see if there's a way to get out of here, like over a wall or through a crack in the wall or something.
There are cracks and holes. You may be able to climb over through a hole that's about 10 foot up from you, if that's something you would like to attempt. You could also try to open the door in front of you if that's something you want to do. But I can tell you the room, the head that you have, its face curls up as you start to get this nasty smell as the bog belches out something else out of this aqueduct. And you can't see it through the wall behind you, but when the liquid starts to run into the room, it creeps and crawls like those sticky hands on the wall as it starts crawling into the room, whatever this liquid is.
Okay, so first of all, is there an obvious exit other than is there an obvious other way out of here other than the door? Okay.
There's a little
and
white
I'm in
there.
front of this crab, right? So
Yep.
I'm going to take a move action, and just when I'm about at the length of my whip, I'm going to turn around and just give the thing a lash with it, like a parting shot.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to complete my move to the door and see if I can go through it.
Well, thankfully, you have reach, because these things in Melee do some horrible things. You got a little reach.
Well, that's why I stayed away from it. I was going to use it as a booster to go through a hole in the wall. I was going to step on its back and lift myself up, but
you could.
I sense that's a fucking dumb idea. So I rolled a 3.
3. You do have an omen. Would you like to use your omen?
Nah, we'll save that for something more ominous.
So you whip and crack and miss. What would you like to do with your move before I go? Would you like to try to exit the room and maybe get attacked on the way out?
Yeah, I want to make it through rooms, man. I want to make it through rooms.
All right, so do you want to climb up, or do you want to agility away from this creature, or are you just going to take the hit? Because you got to dodge him. So you either got to dodge or climb.
I'll climb.
All right, give me
ooh, that's gonna be tough with one hand, with both hands full. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna have to take a hit. I'm not dropping my
You're
shit.
technically pretty strong. You have a +2 to strength. That is rare for a lot of characters. So you can one hand start climbing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll
a hand.
I'll hook the whip on my belt and tuck the skull under my arm, running back style, and I'll just start clawing my way up these horrid walls.
All right, so give me a strength roll. I rolled to hit you. I hit a 12, which I don't believe is enough to hit our knight.
I don't think it hits. Nope.
I'm pretty sure. Go ahead and give me a strength roll. You have an armor. You are tier 3. You have a D6. You gotta give me a defense roll to see if you get hit.
3.
3 for climb, or 3 for defense. Which one are you using it for?
Oh.
You gotta roll defense.
No, my 3. No, I rolled another 3 on defense. So, but wait, you were asking about my climb check.
Yeah.
I rolled a 13 on my climb check.
Easily start climbing up the wall. As it strikes out at you, it bounces off your armor because I did 1 whopping point of damage.
Yay.
As you start climbing up and over, you bypass the door and you land down in the room behind. This room is full of boxes. And there, next to you when you land down, is this stone totem with wings wrapped around it, almost like a bat. From the ceiling, there are chains that hang with stone-like heads on them. And you hear the sound of metal on stone on the opposite side of the room. Now, normally, when you enter this room, it is supposed to lock behind you. But you didn't open the door. So in doing so, I don't know if you can see the art on the screen right now for the avatar of blood. He walks towards you and in your direction. I don't know if he's seen you yet. He is wrapped in skin stretched over armor. And you don't see a face, and you realize it's because he is walking backwards. He carries a large...
Can you indicate him on the screen? I'm having a hard time seeing.
I sure can.
Okay, got it. All right. Okay, cool. So he's moving toward me.
Yep.
What I'm going to do first is a search of some sort.
Sure.
In order to see if any of the heads hanging down from the ceiling are any better than the head I've got with me.
That is.
I'm ready for a fucking upgrade.
That is a roll. I will tell you, there's stone heads in the room. There is one head that looks like Rob Schwab.
Dude, you think I'm passing that up? No way. Okay, I will grab that head and I will discard that other head with no more thought than I would give like the most minor inconvenience.
I don't blame you. So as you grab the head and toss it aside, you pick Rob's head off of it and it starts spouting obscenities in its sunken face, and booze starts to lick out of its neck hole onto the ground. There's 2 things you get with Rob's head. One, it can spout verbal obscenities for damage, and it can hit anyone in a room or a room away if you can see them.
Perfect.
It also leaves a trail behind, allowing all monsters to move 1 additional room.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Yeah, okay, well, this worked out exactly the way I wanted to. So I'm gonna go straight across the room toward the avatar of blood.
Okay.
And I hold up Rob's head, and I let him go razzle frackin' frazzle rackin' motherfucker. Yep. Isn't his head covered in tiny dicks?
I mean, would you like it to be dick skin tags?
Yeah, I was gonna ask before. Do they quiver with anticipation?
Sure. Why? That sounds like Rob.
Okay, I run my fingers through those things to give myself a real good purchase. Yeah, exactly. I get a real good grip, bowling ball grip on him, and then I'm going to direct his hideous spewings.
Okay.
Trademark Rob Schwab, hideous spewings toward the avatar of blood.
Wow. I will tell you that if you could smell what was coming out of him, it smells like toilet wine.
Oh, yeah. Well, he makes that booze in a toilet.
He does. In real life, we've had this discussion.
Yeah, I know. I've had this discussion with Rob.
So with that, this is the first boss of Corpse Talk. I apologize in advance for the thing that is about to happen. You are encountering the first boss. Bosses are more powerful than a regular character. As a matter of fact, not only are they more powerful, they have extra abilities. But before we get into combat, we should probably get into another question. I'll let you marinate on this and your omen that you're sitting on. I feel like I shouldn't take that away from you. That would just be rude.
Fun.
You're gonna use it, you said?
Yep. I'm about to use that omen.
I mean, you can try. I can't promise you anything will go the way you want.
Eric, promises are not what I'm here for.
Oh, okay. As long as you're not here for them.
Yep. So I will, what I'd like to have happen is have him spew forth such a hateful barrage of derogatory and obscene language, ending with the old Empire word for exsanguinate.
All right. Well,
and I want to blast this blood boy right in his blood.
As you set up this, let's go to the next question. A while ago, you took a picture with the fabled sighting of Matt Mercer, the current god of D&D. We all know Matt Mercer is now a deity. I gotta ask you, you were wearing a really different shirt during that picture. It said, and I quote, "I'm cosplaying me."
Yep.
Where do you get your shirts and what the fuck draws you to buying them?
I make these shirts and I just get them one-off printed because no one thinks they're as cool as I do. But I am writing a TTRPG called Delvingwood, and this is our flavor.
Yeah, the logo's in the corner right now.
So when you say there's like skulls with dripping shit and like eyeballs that are blazing, yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, so I make those, and I don't think I made the cosplay one, but I make most of mine because I'm working on a heavy metal album cover for Taylor Swift right now, called Eras of Death, Eras of Unending Death. And I use that super spidery death metal font for her name.
Wasn't her album called like God, what the fuck was it called? Wasn't it called 1985 or 1987 or something?
Yeah, 1989.
So you're redoing that album in death metal?
Well, no, I just kind of made one up, but I just love the idea of Taylor Swift, like with permanent black eye makeup and like huge spikes on her pauldrons.
Oh yeah. My Lord, Danny. Is that something that's going to be coming to a website near you? Is that going to be on Delvingwood? Are they going to be able to buy it on Delvingwood?
Weirdly, I ordered booth t-shirts this year for our Barbie's Dream Dungeon and Barbie Yaga's Dream Dungeon. Okay. And I put the shirts up and said, hey, our booth shirts showed up. And I was just showing the design, and all these people were like, I want one. I want two. I need, where do I get these? Da, 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 da. So I was like, oh, okay. I guess I'll make one of those.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Gelato is what we're using. They're a great printer. They're beautiful T-shirts.
Are they local?
Awesome. No, they're some big company. I don't know, but they have a really nice, and they do the drop shipping for us, which for
really?
behind the scenes people, that's very nice. So
I didn't know that was a thing, to be
honestly, you don't make much money on T-shirts no matter how good you are at it.
Walking billboards. They're just billboards.
Yeah, it's a marketing cost. So
billboards,
but yeah, so
when someone's wearing it in public, unless you're me, and it's an Iron GM shirt that you designed, and a serial killer called Long Pig was wearing it in his mug photo. That is a real thing that happened. I'm not even fucking around. He's literally wearing it.
I 100% believe you. I 100% believe you. It's the same way when we did our Gary hats, and Luke wore one, and Todd Stashwick, the dude who played Picard's Shaw. And the other day, Todd posted a picture of him in the airport coming back from Australia, and he's wearing my hat. I was like, dude,
there's a difference, bro. That is a great person wearing it. Mine was an actual serial killer.
Yeah, but in a way, also pretty cool. You're not a serial killer, and you didn't get serial killed.
It's true.
You know, so
his name is Long Pig. You can look it up. It's fucking wild. I'm not even kidding. They were all worried about it. I thought it was one of the funniest things. Not the serial killer part.
You just gotta roll with it. You can't help what happens to your art once it goes out in the world.
Look.
But, just before we move on, I wanted to say, having met Matt Mercer, that dude super lives up to the reputation. He is the sweetest guy.
Super nice.
And he's very knowledgeable, and he's very willing to take time to share with you. And for somebody in his position, I mean, it's not like he's Beyonce or something, but I think in D&D circles, he's probably pretty well revered. And he and I'm not a critical roller, but his wife, both just super nice.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So he's a great guy. Everything I've ever seen for Matt, he has been nothing but kind. I will. It wasn't barbecue, Drew in chat. It wasn't the barbecue killer. Anyway, with that, let's go back to our lovely combat here. Let's have our first boss fight on Corpse Talk. I'm worried for you, sir. I already have our questions ready to go here because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna pump you once and you're gonna die. So,
could be.
So I'm gonna give you a description for him and we're gonna get into it. This inverted knight is walking backwards and upside down with barbed spikes. It's bleeding from every pore, skin stretched over its ancient armor. More than anything, it wants to praise its obscure god through combat, constructing idols from the slain into these bat-like creatures. As he walks across, you hear a flutter next to you of one of them opening, and you hear the flutter on the other side of the room as these bat blood-esque concrete statues start to animate.
This is the thing I saw on the floor?
It is the thing you saw on the floor.
Okay, do I still have an action that I can use prior to being attacked?
For boss combat, we roll initiative.
Okay.
D6, you add your agility. I roll a D6 and add my agility.
7.
You go first, sir. You're going to move and an action.
Well, okay, so number 1, I omened him.
You what?
I used my omen, so I don't know if there's an effect from that, just reminding.
You use your omen for like rerolls and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, I thought it was a descriptor. My bad.
No.
All right, cool. So I am going to, you said I had 2 potions, neither of which I knew what they did, because nobody has opened one yet.
2 scrolls.
2 scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, okay, I'm going to bust open a scroll. I'm going to face the avatar of blood. My whip is still hanging from my thing.
Okay.
So I got one hand free. I snap my scroll open, and I'm going to try to do something before this guy mashes me into flatness.
Well, we rolled these during our last show. I had the audience roll. I did not tell them what they did. Do you want to pull the scroll that looks the oldest and is dusty? Or do you want to use the scroll that is new and wrapped in almost like a golden foil? I would like you to look at your character sheet before you make that answer.
Okay, now this is the one thing I haven't been able to quite figure out. How do I click on my character?
Is your character. You click him, and then you'll see a little pop-up across the bottom, and you click View. Or you can right-click your name in the upper right-hand corner and click View.
Where did I... Okay, now I see.
Under Party. Your character has a few weaknesses. It basically goes your stats and everything, and it has weakness.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, there we go.
While he's looking at this, for those who were here during our show when we built this, we wanted to make sure that the Headless Knight wasn't invincible, that he could just fight everything under the sun. We had to give him his kryptonite, and we figured in a world that he originally built that was for the deities and the gods would all land here, we needed to give him something that made sense. So, he's got a weakness to gold.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I was tending toward the gold anyway, so I guess it was playing right through the screen here. I'll unwrap the gold wrapper and pull out the treat within.
You can't approach or make or use gold without a presence roll because you are weak to gold. It's kind of like a vampire approaching garlic. Can you please give me a presence roll? This is not an action or anything. This is just for using the item.
That is, what's my presence? I'm blocked by another
window.
-1. Okay, oh shit, 6.
If you grab it, you go to reach for it, you feel revolted, not only by the scroll. Anytime you fail a roll with a gold, you either need to move away from it or throw it away.
I throw it away.
All right, you toss it. Do you pull your other scroll?
I go, yeah!
Okay, so you toss it and it hits the ground somewhere in the room, which we can get to later.
Gross.
You pull your other scroll out. This scroll allows you to turn stone to flesh.
Ooh.
Now, in the room right now, from the random roll we built this, there are 9 heads made of stone hanging in this room. There are a lot of things stone in this room, but that happens to be how.
Boy, man, you caught me off balance. That's the first time so far. All right, that's good. Good, Eric. You run roleplay real good. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna turn toward the chorus of the stone heads, and I'm gonna back in amongst them just a couple of steps.
Sure.
And I will cast this. I will cast the scroll on these stone heads to turn them into fleshy heads. And we'll see what happens as a result.
Spell, you make a presence roll. You are at a -1. Let's see if you can.
Hey, 18. 18 minus 1 is 18. Yep.
The stone starts to melt from these heads on the wall, and on the chains. As they do, it drips like wet concrete splattering across the ground. These heads amplify any form of spell or verbal attack used.
Oh, verbal attack. That's what my head does.
It is, but you're out of actions. So it's
I know. This is all just stalling, waiting to use my disincorporation ability to run back to my dead ass.
Ow. Yeah, hey, you have it on you, though. So it's in this. This
is
so bad.
Fair enough. Whatever. Do it. Just do it, Eric. Just do it.
Another room, buddy.
Just do it.
Let me put him back on display. We were going to pull him up as well for the audience to see him. This was our first boss we built. We amplified him and ramped him up last time because we decided he didn't have enough oomph. So I am making my attack on you. I need you to make me a defense roll as he stabs backwards underneath his armpit with his spear, trying to skewer you as he's charging backwards upside down on the ceiling. Please go give me your defense roll. You don't have anything special. It's just your agility, which sucks.
3.
A 3 is not good enough, good sir. He does a lot of damage. We have a lot of people who pumped into this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 people help make this boss monster. He is also vampiric. As this bladed glaive stabs into you, my damage for him is a
Thanks,
D6.
Jack.
D6 plus once per day he has slaughter, and he can do max damage. So I think to start this off right and get our first death for the show, I am gonna do max damage for him. His slaughter is a total of 12 damage. Give me your armor roll to suck some of it up.
Come on, 6.
What could go wrong?
2. That could go wrong.
How many hit points do you have left after getting stabbed earlier? Is the gout of
None.
flame shoots?
None.
Awesome. So, since you are carrying your soul on you, you go back to your last birthplace, which is the lovely area all the way back in the beginning. And I'll put a skull over here to represent you. This is where you woke up. Here's the rules for the Corpse Talk run back. Very simple. We're gonna go 2 questions. This is rapid fire. I'm gonna read you questions. You're gonna give me answers. Everyone you get right gives you 1 hit point back when you get to your body. Now, if you really want to stack up and get a lot of hit points, you could try to go through other rooms to get hit points back. You can metagame this however you want. Bosses do not heal until they're dead. They stay wounded. But you didn't.
Okay, I think I got it.
Matter. Let me get our music for this one. Danny, we're going to start off with a rapid fire questions. You can go through any doorway that isn't gold. So if you have a gold, like if I explain that something's gold, your spectral version of you cannot handle going through that.
Got it.
Turn this on, turn it down, and we are going to start our questions. All right, everybody. We love the questions section here. Rapid fire, starting in the first room. Neat or on the rocks?
Neat.
All right. Next room. True or false? Is it overrated? D&D.
Yes.
Okay. So we have neat and yes. Now,
Has to be. Has to be.
Has to be. This takes you from room 1 to room 2 into the boss room for your third question, which means you will only start with 3 hit points if you go back to your body. Danny, would you like to go to another room?
Yes.
Or are you good with 3 hit points?
No.
All right. So the next question for you is kale or spinach?
Spinach.
All right.
Kale is a vile thing that should be.
Now you can pass through doors. There's a pork cutlass here that goes up to your north, which I'll move the skull there. You could go this way. You can also
I'll go that way.
Door here. Okay, you're gonna go to the stairs. Stairs takes us to the next map. No one has been to the other map, Danny. No one has been to the other map. You're gonna get a glimpse into the shittiness that is the other map, good sir. On this map, when you come up into room 5. It is a secret room. I will add your skull into here for you. And my next question for you is, party or funeral when you die?
Party.
All right. Someone knows me is what I'm hearing here. Would you like to continue into the next room, or are you comfortable with the amount of hit points you have?
Continue.
Into this big room. This room is covered in a crimson red. It's about halfway, almost wainscoting and down. The floor has carvings on it of some sleeping aberration. Through the far wall, you see a shadow walk by, and a hand the size of like a VW bug reaches into the room. Out of it, ghosts spring from its fingernails with chains attached to it, coming after your corpse. You get to answer one more question and make the decision if you are staying or gonna start walking back. Next question is true or false? Are undead the best?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely, categorically not.
Undead are not the best. Would you like to stay in this
room? I have a quote, no zombies. That's my writing rule.
Would you like to stay in this room or head back to where you were? Because right now you're not near your...
I'm going to head back. I feel like I just met the second boss.
All right,
so I'm pushing my luck.
2 questions to get back. Best writing tool. Is it a pen?
No.
All right. And then the last one is, what sea animal would you be, Danny? You can get this one wrong.
Octopus.
Okay. That is not correct, but it's okay. All right, going back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 7. You get 6 hit points back for your character. As we head back to your body to fight the boss, it is your action, good sir. What would you like to do?
Am I still holding on to Rob Schwall's dickhead?
Yep, it's still, you still got it in your hand. You did not lose it.
All right, good. I don't know what to think now, and I for sure don't know what Rob Schwab's dickhead would be thinking. So I guess where I return to is exactly where I started.
You go right back into your body. Basically, it's your ectoplasmic nervous system coming back to the undead body.
Okay, got it. So I'm in the room still with the accursed knight.
Yeah, you sure are. You're right back in there. He turns as you start to stand back off the ground. But you have first action. What would you like to do?
Just if you would give me just a second to look at my character. If I open it, I can't see everything, so
you should be able to. I can tell you everything you want to know.
There we go. Now we go. So let's see here. So the reason we rolled initiative was not because I have that initiative ability. It's because fighting a boss just always requires
automatically that. Initiative. Yep.
Got it.
Everything else is no initiative. It's you first because they don't fucking matter. But bosses and gods, because upstairs what you just saw at that wall is a deity. If you fight it, you learn more about the world, but I don't think anyone's killing that motherfucker soon. So you gotta back.
So I'm just trying to remember. To remember if when I came in here.
Yes.
Was there another route for me to go in the previous room? Was there 2 doors out of that previous room?
No. So you're talking the room before this room. There's only one way to go.
I'm going to go back through that room and seek another fork that takes me away from this flip knight.
Now, I would like to remind you, good sir, you have to climb because you did not open the door.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'll climb.
All right. Give me your roll to climb. I have reach, which means I get a parting shot.
I have a 14 to try to climb.
Your climb is very good. Can I have a defense roll from you as I swing at you as you're trying to leave the room?
There's a 4. All right, 4.
See how much damage I do.
Now does he get to do the all damage forever thing twice?
Nope, I get it once a day.
He gets that once a day, right on. Yeah. That's cool.
So I do 5 points to you. But here's the
I got 1 point left.
This lovely monster has 2-room movement. And since Rob's disembodied head lets him move an extra room, I have 3-room movement. So you move into the next room.
And there's a door, right?
There is a door.
But he would use the door.
Or I would climb through the hole.
Oh, okay. So, gotcha.
So you land.
I was hoping maybe the hole would keep him from following me, but I get it now.
No.
All right, so, yeah. Well, what the fuck? I'm just gonna keep going as far as I can.
So you climb down in the room, and on the other side is that same crab that you left.
I want to run past this thing. I'm trying to escape the big bad boss. I can't take a hit no matter what. So.
All right. Give me an agility roll to bypass the crab to the next room.
That is a 13.
That is good
with
enough.
A minus.
To bypass.
Well, actually, no. Plus. Wait, is that a -2 to my agility? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's enough.
So that's an 11. That's an 11.
So as you make your way through into the next room, this is the room you were reborn in. There is 1 door to the north and 1 door to the west. Inside here, there are two spinal thieves. These are the people that were robbing the tombs here. They see you when you walk into the room. Danny, what would you like to do?
I hold Rob's dickhead in front of me and let it spew obscenities at them in the hopes of frightening them off.
All right, I actually need you to give me a presence roll to use it because it is a presence roll attack.
That is a 13. That's -1 to 13.
You could, sir, do a D8 damage with Rob's head.
Holy cats!
And it hits everybody in the
Rob,
room.
thank you very much. Hail Satan. 5 points.
5 points. Hold on. This might be enough. Hold on.
Blasphemery. I'm blaspheming them.
I'm still alive, good sir. I'm
Damn
still alive. You do walk in and blast them, which takes us to our next question. Probably our final one, unless I get another kill on you. Rob, you died once. I put a mark on the side, Rob. Danny, you died once. I put a mark on the side indicating your death. I have a feeling these two are probably going to kill you as well. We're going to one of the last questions. If people want to run a memorable game, and have it be at their home or at a convention, or maybe you have a bigger answer to this, what is the process to create and run a memorable game?
Well, Well, I would say, number 1, this is a memorable game.
Okay.
So what's going on here? What's going on here? What's going on here is you've got a GM who is engaged, who has read the room, quote unquote, understands the kind of game that somebody like me is going to enjoy. You know, I like difficult questions and difficult choices, and I'm usually down to do whatever. So I think those are the things right there. You know, when I sit around with friends, I'm actually finding sometimes that playing with friends is a little more challenging because we've done so many things the same way so many times.
I agree.
And I need to get back in touch with how to undo that because in my brain because it's maybe making me not do so much of that. But when I play with new people, I would say that there is a little bit of talent involved where you have to be able to read people. You can't just run the game straight and expect everybody to have a great time because not everybody likes a straight game. And in fact, most people don't. Most people gravitate toward, they gravitate toward other systems that are perhaps more tactically and mathematically complex because they want certainty. They want to know a fireball is a fireball is a fireball. Whereas the games I run, a fireball could be a fireball or a fire stream or a fire lake or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Sure.
So I just try to look at the players and then I'm super, when I was a kid, like a lot of kids, you get picked on, you deal with that stuff, and you learn tactics, you learn strategies to overcome that.
Mine was martial arts.
Yeah, mine eventually was martial arts, but back in the day, I just developed a really good sense of humor. Mm-hmm. And I also learned how to read the room, who was really being a jerk and who wasn't. Those skills have crossed over into D&D, where I can see somebody's not engaged. And so I make sure they get engaged. And if it's a minor thing, and this is really key, minor successes should be given away for free.
Agreed.
I want to run across these tables and jump into the horse trough on the other side of the wall. You do. What do you do now? Yeah. Because to me, it's always about okay, you do that. What happens then? Yeah. Okay, that happens. What happens then? And so those three things: have a sense of humor, don't take yourself too seriously. 2, read the room, note people who are having a great time to make sure that they're just having a great time and not running your table. Then there's the people that are not having a good time. Are they not having a good time, or are they just more of a spectator type player? Mm-hmm. Who's just there for the vibe of the night, man? Hey, we're all hanging out, we're having a beer, dragons are getting slain, this is super fun.
Beers and pretzels.
And the third thing is just remaining loose in the pocket, like knowing that you have options always, I don't make people roll for things that don't matter. That's another thing that's really important.
Yeah.
If you want to do something, just do it. And because a lot of, for example, I can wind up with this, I guess. What will happen is people will be like, well, we should try this, or we should try that, or we should try this, or we should try that. And I'll simply just say, okay, what is it that you think you need in order to make a decision?
Sure.
And usually somebody will say something like, well, if we had a map of the whole installation, okay. You come up to a comlink station, if we're playing a sci-fi game, you bring up the map, and now what do? Yeah. Well, we need to know what all these rooms contain. Well, it sounds like you're going to have to go out and search. Okay, so give them the map, but they still got to go find out what's actually in the rooms. Yeah. The map is not the territory, right? Yeah. So that's just a simple way of reminding yourself you don't have all the answers, and reminding players that they shouldn't be waiting for more. They should just be doing stuff. It's an action game, not a gather information game necessarily.
Now, before we go back and I take my 2 actions of murdering your character, because that's my game plan, you run some really crazy, I remember one of the first convention games I saw you run, you had an airplane taped off on the floor with chairs and someone on a light switch, and you were running like Cthulhu on a plane or something?
Yeah, that was a thing that we never published it. We might. We got some stuff we're publishing right now. How do you run
something like that, though, and make it, so first off, I believe having someone pay to play isn't a negative, because it shows investment into wanting to be there.
Right.
And you ran this as a paid event at more than one convention, if I remember correctly.
That's correct.
How do you build that out? How do you get the space? What do you do to make sure you get the room you need, that you have people to do it? How do you make that entertaining for the time frame that you're doing? Because that is a different problem to solve versus running a table of people playing D&D.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is. And so the short answer is, all of that stuff that you just talked about, the logistic meta stuff, there are groups that go to big conventions, small conventions too, that run a specific game or a game style or whatever, and they usually hook up with a company, in my case Chaosium,
sure,
the people who may call it Cthulhu, and there was already a group called Novus Ordo Seclorum that already had an existing relationship. I brought content and a willingness to run 13 players for 8 hours, and they didn't make a requirement for us to do anything more than just character sheets and stand around a room and role play. But we, of course, Bruce and Susan and I, that's the Fluff and Crunch run team. We took it upon ourselves to create the outline of the plane, to set up the whole thing like a plane. We told people they could not get out of their seats unless they talked to the stewardess. And we had one of our friends play the stewardess. and he was the most officious, rules-oriented stewardess. Like, and he would make people sit back down. It's like the seatbelt light is on, and then they'd have to sit down. You know, they'd sit down. Yeah. And what was great about that, we also brought a big video screen at the front that showed like what the plane fuselage looked like. So it's immersive. We had music, we had sound effects, and there's a big reveal in that game where suddenly there's nobody in the cockpit, and there's never been anybody in the cockpit. But what we did was during the video loops, we would switch between different videos. So we had one that showed the Google flight path on the way to Anchorage, Alaska, and then it showed their flight path. And when they started to diverge, the players were like, "Hey, what's going on there? Which one's us?" And then we would just have quick clips of inside the cockpit, and it was like two pilots. I found this video clip of two pilots flying a 747.
Yeah.
And then we had an empty cockpit, but we only put it up there for 3 seconds. And I swear to God, Eric, somebody at the back of the plane said, "Did you see that? Did you see that? Yeah, I don't think there's anybody in the cockpit." And then we were very careful from that point on not to show it too often. Well, by the time they figure out there's nobody in the cockpit, the woman who's pregnant on the plane is going into labor. The air marshal has stood up with his Glock and has threatened to shoot someone if they approach the cabin door. There's a zombie in the hole banging on the ceiling. So you just go crazy. I mean, that's what it is. There's no like science to it. It's just like, wouldn't it be cool if
lean way in is the rule. Lean way
in. And you know what? We sold out one year, and we had been charging like $65 a head, something like that, only because we got so many requests. Like, it's like you gotta like at some point like limit how many people can be in it.
You do.
And we were running it like 3 times a weekend. And
were you really running it that much?
Oh yeah, we run it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at Gen Con.
That's, dude, so I think the last time I saw you run one like that,
3 GMs.
It is a very taxing. Like, when you're done, you just want to go to bed.
Oh yeah.
You're on like turned up to 11 for every game. You have to be. People are paying to be there. I also think it draws the best out of me.
Definitely it does. I've watched you run. You know, you are a riffer. Yes. You will take somebody's input, and that's what I mean about being sensitive to the room, right? Like, there's being sensitive, like noticing a human not enjoying themselves or enjoying themselves.
X-card
trigger. But then there's the character that's like too aloof and couldn't care less, you know? But you find that one thing they like, and suddenly they're all in.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a good skill for any storyteller to have, no matter what you're playing, because people, this is just a life learning thing. If people are talking about something, it's because they like it. Like, that's just all they're really. No, you may not, but that's not the fucking question.
Right. I run a lot of games that I don't personally think I would enjoy playing.
Exactly.
But I love running them, and I love the people that enjoy playing them.
Exactly.
So I would play with them.
High off their supply.
Yeah, exactly. You get high off their supply. Exactly.
Yeah. So with that, I get to have my turn and murder you. Just
roll some shitty dice, Eric, and let me live.
We're going right into this. So for those who know, we already got one death tonight. Our boss did its fucking job. Now these Spinal Thieves, the very first characters we created, for those who haven't seen them, it might be new to the show, I'll put it on the screen. They have stitched up lips with wire. Their teeth are sharpened. They wear spines as armor. They do have a morale, though, so if he does kill one, there's a chance they will run. They're known for stealing the items.
I forgot about morale in the report.
They are known for stealing the items of the dead or living if they get too close. With that said.
All right. Well, to be perfectly honest, they can have Rob Schwab's dickhead.
I'm not going to fight them. Remember, if they steal that, you can't see. You dropped your other head.
Oh, yeah.
And you had one of their heads originally, and this head is regrown. So they're both going to move across the room. One jumps up on your old sarcophagi. They both attack you. I need you to make me a defense roll. Not the armor roll, defense roll. You roll a d20, and you add your agility, which is hot garbage.
Yep, I got it.
What do you got?
13.
13? Well, you got to do it twice.
Am I at disadvantage? Is that what that is?
Nope.
Oh, no, it's two opponents. 2 opponents. Oh, a 19! Natural 20, but a 19.
Your armor takes the blow. However it is, you're dodging this, unfortunately. That means it's your turn, Danny. Yeah, dance away, good sir. Dance away. How would you like to handle these two in the room? They're already wounded from the Rob Schwab obscenity scream. What would you like to do?
Yeah, so I have an exit out of this room?
There is in the room to the north. You see there's a lot, like a set of double doors. No one's tried to open that. And there is a door to the south as well. Here, I will move your little heart token so you can see. There's a door here.
Cool.
And there is a door up, double doors here. Neither one have been open. There are no cracks above the door here because this is the outside edge of the tower.
Okay, I am going to just run pell-mell at those doors and hope that my strength will break them open.
The double or the single?
The double.
All right, as you run towards the double doors, I get 2 attacks on you. I need you to roll 2 defense rolls, d20s, please. They don't do a lot of damage.
Got a 7 and a 16.
You dodge one, you don't dodge the other. The other one does 4 points of damage. Now you get your armor roll.
Oh, my armor reduction roll.
Yep. As you run towards.
5! Finally! The dice
glancing
goes
blow up again. I did 3. As you shoulder these doors, give me your strength roll trying to get through. No one has went this way before.
Come on, Rob Schwab's dickhead.
I hope you fail the strength roll. I'll laugh my ass off.
15!
As you hit the door, boom, once, you see it crack. And behind it, you see this gray, dark room with rats crawling all over the floor. As they start to flood through the room, the trap goes off. Can you please make me... Yup. Can you please make me your agility roll to dodge the rats, or if you want, you can make a toughness roll just to suck it up. You are pretty tough.
Toughness roll. I suck it up with a 18 minus 2.
They soar over you through your armor, burning rats covered in poison pour out of you since you're still on fire inside.
That's right.
As the doors burst open, we burst into Danny's map that he has provided to us for the show. Danny, what would be the first monster in this room that we are going to design next Tuesday for Alchemy to die in? Because Alchemy is our next guest. The people who provide the VTT.
Boy, I don't know which map you're going to use.
The rat one that you gave me, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, it's just going to be...
Anything you want.
Yeah. I don't honestly remember what's in there. But I'll tell you what. There, in that dungeon, there certainly could be more than one Rat Kings.
So now I'll tell you this: there's cards that we use to build these things, which is Streamloot. And this is a new part of the show. Because you survived this part, I'm going to let you pick. Would you like to have a minion, an encounter, or a boss when they enter through the door?
Oh, an encounter.
You don't want it to be a boss through the double doors? The boss doors? Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. You said they were more prestigious looking, right?
They're way more powerful.
Yeah. I guess the rats are kind of an encounter in and of themselves too. So, yeah, boss would be great.
All right, we're going to use the boss card from Serving Hands. That's going to get added in. That will count towards building for our next show. Danny, we're going to do one more round of combat because I feel like your ass hasn't died enough here, and I feel like these two creatures deserve another chance. Do you move into this room with the rat swarm pouring out, or do you stay in here?
Like 2 foes versus
and a
rat swarm. And I wrote that dungeon, so yeah, I come back. Yeah, I close the doors and like, oh, this place reminds me of something, and I'll go the other way. I'll run for the south doors.
Oh my God, Danny! As you go through this door, give me your agility roll, as they're both going to take swings at you as you're moving through the room.
Ooh, that's a 4.
Ooh, that's not good.
And that's an 18.
Okay, the 18 doesn't. The other one doesn't. Give me your armor roll. I'm doing 5 points of damage this time.
I rolled a 3.
So you take 2 points. Are you still standing?
I am not.
I think you're back
I had
down.
1 hit point. I had 1 hit point.
As you go back down, that means another treasury goes in. We will do a rapid fire, and this is going to determine the hit points that the next.
So I got 2 treasuries in.
2, and you can give them all if you want. That is totally up to you.
Yeah. I just want to make sure where we're at technically.
We have technically 2 deaths, and 2 of them are in. We're going to do the last rapid fire to close out the show, and this is going to determine how many hit points alchemy starts with. So this allows you to be kind or be kind of an asshole if you just run right back to your body and don't lap any rooms. So we're going to go into Q&A. We're going to do the lovely rapid fire questions here, Danny, to close out our show. These are my favorite. There are some doozies in here. You're through more rapid fire questions than anybody else so far. We're going to restart up Holy Roller, and we're going to go to our vertical cams and do our questions. All right, Danny, you already did your sea animal, which is very important, by the way. Sea animal is important. True or false, time travel is real?
Yes.
Okay. Next question, if you want to go to another room, or do you just go right back into your body and leave them with 1 hit point?
No, I'll go to another room. I'm a homie.
We'll do another room through. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Right. Tea is fucking rancid.
Good
brown
man.
water.
That makes me happy. Nessie will be very upset in the chat, but that makes me very happy.
Good.
Doing another room?
Oh, yeah.
All right. True or false? Books to movies are great.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Books to movies are great.
Oh, books.
Books to movies are great. True or false?
Oh, books to movies. Books to movies. No, false.
Okay. And then after that, would you like to go back to your body? Or you want another question?
Another question.
All right. True or false? Space exploration is still important.
Exploration is still important?
Space exploration. Space.
Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You're back up to 5. You're giving him a 5 hit points. Do you run through another room, generating more health?
I'll go through one more.
All right. Oh, this is a hard one. No one has answered this one correct. I had asked this earlier. Which TV family does your family have the most in common with? Which TV family does your family have the most in common with?
Married with children.
Okay. That is not the correct answer. But
it's a good one. It's a good answer, just not the right answer.
It's not the right answer, but that is a great answer. Well, Danny, thank you so much for joining us for Corpse Talk tonight. You're going to be at Gamehole Con, which is super awesome. I will be there as well. And you are like right front and center. Do you want to give people the lowdown on what you're going to be doing at Gamehole Con?
Yeah, for sure. Well, before anything else, thanks a lot, Eric. This was super fun, man.
Wild.
Like Friday night well spent in my book. Great game. And good questions, too. Yeah, so we're going to be at Gamehole Con in Madison starting next Thursday, the 19th through the 23rd. It's a great convention if you've never been to one. If you're local to the area, it's awesome. We're just inside the doors in an area called Demo Row. And it's just a place to learn about new companies, new games, try out their stuff, blah, blah, blah. We have created a little booth for ourselves that has as its central feature the Barbie Yaga Dream Dungeon. And you'll be able to play through a vertical dungeon and earn little tickets and trinkets and cool stuff. And you'll also be able to buy our map terrain. We make some really cool wooden tiled map terrain. Map tiles, and you'll be able to play with them and goof around, and we'll, get into all sorts of hijinks.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I guess to say is I'm also the lead developer on the Cthulhu product line for World of Game Design. So I'm about to kickstart after the show. About to kickstart a new Cthulhu adventure that my writing team and I have put together. And that is called The Lantern, and it's on Kickstarter right now, and you can go there and just say, notify me. And then when we put out that book, you'll be notified. And you can come back and buy it, and then you can send me all the things I did wrong.
Well, you can give me a link, and I'll add that into our description. I'd like to show everybody. So these are the things that have been gifted so far. Rob Schwab gave all of his things out. He's like, you know what? It makes sense. I'm going to give you Shadow Demon Lore. We're going to give you Occult Philosophy. And we're going to give you Hunger in the Void, even though you motherfuckers could not kill me. And then he also added in this Exquisite Agony. Danny, you said you're going to be adding some stuff into this treasury as well. We've currently gotten 2 of your items in, which are 25-piece versions of this kit. I will put those up on screen in a second. You have a tough choice, good sir. You technically get to hold 2 of your prizes and not put them into the treasury for the end of the season, or you can be a kind, benevolent person and donate them all, also giving the next person extra items.
Yeah, we're doing that, man. We're doing that. We're dropping all 4.
You're going to be a benevolent, nice, kind player.
I'm going to be a benevolent dictator. As long as you don't cross me, you got no problems.
Benevolent dictator. I've not, be honest, I have not heard that one on the show yet. That is new to me. What is a benevolent dictator, good sir?
Well, like if you agree with me, we're copacetic, and if you don't, they just never find your body.
I'm clipping that one for later. So here are the pieces he is now also adding into the show for us. We go through all the ones from Rob, and he's doing these 25-piece sets. Would you like to explain what these are so they know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so it's just a collection of what basically our starter kit of these map tiles. They're all made right here in the good old state of Wisconsin in the US of A by these hands. And my wife and my kids and other people that wander into the shop and help us out. And they are wooden tiles. They're on 3/8-inch plywood. They're very durable. They come unfinished, but they have that nice laser etched surface to them, and they're extremely durable. So I always think like people just dig them for what they are, but then also people with kids who don't want to drag their Dwarven Forge out or drag their resin stuff out, but they still want to play a game where people can have fun. Man, these things are perfect. And literally, you can sweep them into a Crown Royal bag and have your own little dungeon set with you at a convention. Anywhere you go, you've got some nice little terrain that you can just pop out. So that's what we make. We make a lot of other stuff too. You can check it out at delvingwood.com. But that's what we're going to give y'all because we want to see more people put miniatures on their table.
Well, I can say personally, I've been using these for a long time at my table. I have primed ones, painted ones, normal ones. And the reason I like them is really easy for conventions to do a dungeon in a bag. You grab a tile, you pull it out, you slap it on the table in front of you, and you just go. And on the back of my tiles, I write if it's an encounter tile, a trap tile, a treasure tile, and it allows you to build these things into like a going dungeon, into whatever you want, live at conventions. Well, Danny, I will be seeing you next week. We'll be hanging out. We'll be chilling at Gary Gamehole Con. Do you want to tell people the crazy thing you're bringing, or you want to spill that here? Because I got to see it, and it's wild.
Yeah, I don't have pictures because it's not done yet, but we basically, with all the Barbie mania, we came up with a character that is a succubus based on Barbie called Barbie Yaga. And she is a punk rock princess of pain. Yeah. And she rules the Dream Dungeon. And this Dream Dungeon is essentially a Barbie dream house that I built for my daughter out of an old bookcase. So it's this big bookcase, like 6 feet tall, or 5 feet tall, something like that, 3 feet wide. And what we turned it into was a descending dungeon. So every different level has different lighting, different stalactites and stalagmites. We got these really cool wooden miniatures from Corvid on Etsy that we're using for the demo. We don't have any affiliation with them, but we're using them.
They're cool.
And people get to come by and play this little tactical game called Skirmish that we are just going to have available to play at the conventions. So that's the deal.
Well, that's fun. I'll have to stop by and see if I can make it to the lower levels. I know what's in store there. It is kind of wild. And Danny, we'll have to have you on again as this product releases and more things come out. And when your adventure comes out, you'll have to come back for maybe season 2. And we'll add maybe part of that adventure into the dungeon. Like always, when people come on, if they've produced a product, we like to take something of theirs, add it to. So we're going to be doing a boss Rat King in the next room we start designing. Thanks to Danny. Danny, what are the 5 words of warning or help you would like to leave to Alchemy during their next show on Wednesday? Any 5 words, your choice. You can be nice, kind, you can help them, or you can just bury them into the ground and tell them the double doors are the way to go.
Be bold or flee quickly.
Be bold or flee quickly. All right, Danny. Well, thank you so much. Stay in the wings. Wave bye to the audience as I kill you off for the night. Look at Danny. He's dead, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for Corpse Talk, everybody. If you're watching this later, have it be the edited down 20-minute version or the full live show. On this side, there's going to be a little circle to click. That circle is very important. We're trying to hit 500 people. Now, 500 people allow us to have super chats and do other crazy ass shit. On the other side is going to be a video to watch. I'm guessing it's going to be John Wick or maybe our Blade Runner series. And down below, all the links to the show will be in there. Delvingwood, his upcoming Kickstarter, anything that they are doing will be down below. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And as always, turn it up to 11. See you guys next time.